continent Africa, huge continent. Here's the Mediterranean, here are the little tiny countries in Europe. I say when these dudes looked over and saw these black men in the Sudan,
Now you cooking.
they started feeling inadequate. You see, so their sexual expression was penis and anus and penis and mouth. This is the gastrointestinal tract. If the brain is thinking, I feel masculine and inadequate, the brain will say, put penis in mouth, put penis in anus. And then the semen is supposed to give a sense of more masculinity. Now I hope this is not too much for this class.
No, they were having challenges somewhere else.
Okay. You see, so this is what is going on. We have epidemic levels of black male feminization that we never had before. See, even the physicians are questioning, well, where is this coming from? If you take fathers out of the home in substantial numbers so that male children don't have a guide, you see, then they will, oh, I see mommy's getting dressed, putting on earrings, fixing her hair, getting ready to her job. I want a job too. Do you all understand? See, all of it's being manipulated over here. See, the whole idea, I'm doing my own thing.
Say it again.
I'm giving this lecture. I wouldn't be giving this lecture. I might be in Annapolis looking at the water. In other words, the things that we're pushed to do because of reality. I'm afraid to not talk about it because we are in a position of genocide. See, if you kill the men of a people,
You do it.
the women can sit around and do whatever they want. Look at Scandal all day. But it won't be a black people. See, and that's what Scandal is all about in the
Yes.
The black women are so hungry for men that have power. That even if they have to look at a black woman being a hoe to the president, which is no different than the slave plantation.
That's right.
See, the women in slavery, wonder who the master's going to take this week. And maybe I get a little bit of fat back. Do you see, nothing has changed. See, power. The slave master could give you a little bit more cornmeal, but you were still a slave. Sally Hemings was still a slave. She wasn't loved because Dr. Welsing didn't recognize the good.
Say it again.
Oh, wow.
See, this is being played out on jobs, believe me. See, in other words, they get an A+, and we are in a trap. The purpose of the lecture, see, this is not about hate white people. We don't have time, that's cheap. That's when you're weak, and you can't figure things out. So there's no time to hate. We are trying to deal with our reality under the pressure of genocide. See, all the little black male children that come through the psychiatrist's office who are acting up, not because they're bad, smart little children, but they're acting up, I want my father. Where's my father? Did you get a birthday present? I don't care. I said, sweetheart, you are not Spock.
Yeah.
You're not looking like a human being. You are a human being. All the sad little children that want their fathers. Little child said, Dr. Welsing, I think I could do my homework if I just had an official father. Dr. Welsing, if I had a father, he could have shown me what goes on under the hood of a car. These are little people 10 and 11 years old. You're talking to them because they're acting up at school. They're acting up at school because they are sad, not bad. Sad because the system has taken the fathers. The system incarcerates the fathers. The system, I'm going to give them prolonged sentences. And then they can start having obligatory homosexual relations. They can get HIV because I'm not testing for that. And then they can bring that out. And that's a part of our genocide for the purpose of white genetic survival.
Dr. Welsing,
I have a question.
Yeah,
speaking of the system,
in the mic.
have you considered the game croquet? Speaking of balls, speaking of this, when you look at the game and its origins, it was wooden balls being hit through metal pings, metal hoops. And the time it came around was around the slave trade, which looked like the same type of cuffs they would put around the slaves. And so when you look at like the croquet, I mean, they have colored balls now, but it was wooden balls, and then a wooden mallet that hits other wooden balls through the chains. And so it just almost looks like the setup of elevating certain colored people that would help or help to push others through the metal. I mean, speaking of the prison system, through the metal chains. The same thing happened on the plantation. I mean, this is what was happening on the plantation, and they played it out. And you got more points if you were able to hit another ball into another ball through the metal hoops.
Well, see, I would say it's a variation. It's a variation on pool or billiards, where long stick white ball knocks the different colored balls under the table. At the end of the game, the white ball is on top. That means white genetic survival. You see what I'm saying? So I would just say there are different variations. It's just like the croquet mallet. There you go again. See, ball, testicle, ball. And so you're just doing variations on the thing. I say of white genetic survival. But anyway. Yes, sir.
Yes, my question is basically a follow-up to the brother here up front. Dr. Umar Johnson mentioned a book called like the DSM. It's like DSM-5 that's pretty much out recently.
Diagnostic Statistical Manual.
Right, yes. And I think he mentioned like the DSM-2 or 3 that had homosexuality as a mental disorder. And then when the next DSM came out, that homosexuality was removed from the DSM. So my thing is that was the removal of homosexuality from the DSM basically the start of the movement for homosexuality to become more accepted in the general public, and then end up affecting the black community after that?
See, I would say how can we go at it like this? See, the more there is a rise, or shall we say, emancipation struggles of black people. When black people were totally in chains, you see, and so you can beat them up and whip them anytime you want. You really kind of have them under control. Okay, so then you have emancipation. And so then you can have, you know, slavery by another name. Huh?
No, bring it back. Yeah.
Okay. So, but then the more, then you have civil rights struggle, and then you end up with a black president. See, all along, I mean, from the slave plantation forward, they were thinking about the genetics. They were thinking about what a black man's genetics could do. Do you see? And
Yeah.
so as long as the black male was totally under control, then white males can experience more security about their masculinity. The more the black male struggles to get free of the various chains, I say the more feminine the white male begins to feel. Do you see? All you have to do is look at the fashions. And not only that, you've got white women's liberation struggles going on, and many white women are now making more money than white men. And so then that's pushing white men also over to an effeminization. You see, and so then let's take it out of pathology and let's make it normal. Do you see what I'm saying? In other words, there's nothing wrong. Now, this is not homophobia. You see, but any group of people that are interested in projecting themselves into the future cannot put homosexuality male, homosexuality female on the same level as heterosexual sexual relations. Do you see? In other words, I say at a certain level, this is theory, that the more the people who classify themselves as white begin to dislike themselves. See, in other words, if I've got a whole lot of slaves around me, none of them can read, none of them can write, I can feel superior.
Okay.
You see, but if the slaves start coming out, pushing, forcing, struggling their way out, and then you end up with, what's the black actress's name? What's her name? I can't remember.
Lupita Nyong'o?
Right. Do you see what I'm saying? That black girl in that white dress at the Oscars. You see, no amount of orange makeup
Orange.
can make the pale lady look like better than that.
That's right.
Do you see? And so that whole transformation, if the black people, see, if black people magically could get in bed, get on your knees before you get in bed. God made me proud of myself and glad to be black. I really wish I was more black.
That's right.
Like that guy?
If black people, if there was a critical mass of black people that woke up tomorrow morning thinking that. You see, it wouldn't be just, I think I'm cute. They would be relating out of respect for themselves and value for themselves.
Right.
You see, the system of white supremacy would get the shakes because the system is dependent on being able to annihilate the respect, black self-respect. If you have black people, if I created 3 pills,
Billionaire, trillionaire.
go on eBay with my 3 pills, I won't be able to get on till Saturday. It'll take a little while. The first pill you take Sunday morning, it'll turn you white. The second pill you take on Monday, it'll give you long. Long, straight hair. next pill you take on Tuesday, and it would give you so-called white features. I would be the wealthiest woman on the planet. See, all the people in India, all the people in China, all the black people, South America, all the people in America, people would wake up saying, the hell with Dr. Welsing, I'm on those pills. They would be out selling Viagra.
Oh, gosh.
See, but just, embrace yourself. That's true. Just embrace yourself and say, that's fascinating. And then give some more A pluses to racism. See, in other words, racism, when they realize this planet is filled with colored people, they can all participate in my genetic annihilation. So what am I going to do? And they get serious. They don't listen to loud music. So they got to have some little clink, clink, Mozart, sonatinas, think music. Now, boom! That turns off the brain. Sensory overload. But they say that's your music. All that loud noise where you can't think. Okay, but they got some soft music playing and thinking, what do they need to do? And so now what we're going to do, we're going to give them a white image of God. Where is she going with that? She's talking about my Savior. See, don't get upset. I'm baptized Baptist underwater. Christian AME. Before you can walk. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the system of white supremacy that says we are going to control all of these areas of activity, including religion, because we've got to hold down a whole planet of colored people. Now, what better than to give them the image of a white person and give it to all the colored people and say, this is God. See how God looks just like me? I'm God. Now you better write a musical called Arms Too Short to box with God. Do you all follow me? No, you can't fight with God. But what if that's not God? See, what if that is not God? See, even Billy Graham said Jesus couldn't have been white. Not in that part of the world. He couldn't have been white. That's out of the mouth of Billy Graham. No, but yes, don't talk about my Savior. Got a problem? Who do I go to? White God.
White Jesus?
But white God is doing it. To me. Let's give him some more A's because that's the deepest. See, imagine we just got off of the slave ship. All those months on the Atlantic. Can you imagine the conditions? So finally the boat lands. And we're about out of our minds. So they get us on land, They sell us. We're on different plantations. And then after a while, they give us their image. They say, this is God. And they say, loves everybody, red, yellow, black, and white, all are precious in his sight. See, but that's why, see, hidden in words, it's just like in the word America. America is the phrase, I am race. And the word Jesus in Ebonics is just us. See, things are hidden. That's why you can't hide truth. It will come out. You see, but having black people praying to the image that oppresses them, or having that as their standard of beauty, you got them cracked. Give them some more aid. See, but that's the point of understanding. If you don't take understanding and turn it into hate, that's cheap. That doesn't go anywhere. You have to turn understanding to like you're at a chessboard. And if you really respect yourself, you say to your opponent, play your best game. See, play your best game. I'm going to be time enough for you. See, play your best game. But now that I have decoded your survival, what you are operating on this particular planet for your survival, now I know who you are. Now I know where you're coming from. So you don't have time to hate, but I know where you're coming from. I understand your demographics. I understand your genetics. And so if you want to survive, that just means you have to engage in what? They made a movie about it. Big time movie. Sniper.
Oh, yeah.
Sniper killed how many? 163 people. Were they white people? Hero. Enjoyed killing. They weren't really humans. See, when you're looking at scandal and empire, see, white people look at that and say, that's Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes. See, read about Hitler, what Hitler did. Hitler said, see, after the First World War, you had a lot of Africans fighting on the side of the other European powers. So you had black soldiers, German women who liked black soldiers. When I was in Germany in 1957, they had candy, little chocolate candy in the form of a little baby. They called it nigger babies. Hitler's favorite candy was chocolate. See, somebody asked Hitler how come he didn't wear lederhosen, those leather shorts. He said because his legs were too white. That would be too shameful to expose his white legs. But Hitler was running white supremacy. And everybody that he said was not white was going to go in the ovens. So Hitler knew that, and not only that, at the point that Semites are the Jewish religion. They wanted to be accepted as Germans. People say you're not white. Read his book. He said, I don't care about their religion. They're not white.